Yeah, I just wanted to start off with something really stupid. Okay, along the lines of getting dumber, let's make this relevant. So, large language models, AI, Chat GPT, they're all the same thing. Yeah. So this article, I was discussing this with a friend of mine who sent this, and yeah, I do think that we have a serious issue where some of these LLMs are going to make us less capable. They're going to make us dumber. And according to the article, here's some ways I use LLMs that I think are making me dumber. So, I've used them in my other job to help me solve coding problems that I just couldn't quite see something or figure out what was going on. I've used it to point out things that I could look for, and I'll go and look at them. I can see where if I started using it to create the actual solution, that I would really get less practice in the thing that I do every day, and that's not good. Like they say, doing fast math homework, not the point of homework. The point of homework is to practice, right? When I need to write an email, I've done that too. I've used it to help me think through email responses and things like that, and I do think it potentially could help, or potentially could erode your ability to think uh, empathetically, or to think about how you actually block out and respond to emails. Um, yeah, and like they say here, if your first response is to go to the AI to help you figure out whatever the thing is, then you are being trained to use that thing over using your own brain, and that is, like they say here, it's a deliberate act on the case of the provider too. And you just need to be very aware of that as you're using it. And I can't, you know, I'm not for or against AI necessarily, but I do think that it's problematic in this sense. And this article breaks down historical analogies like calculators. If you think about that, if you think about your use of a calculator, and where you put it, like it has with me, it's diminished my ability to do basic math fast. I just will go to the calculator before I will actually think through it. And GPS, think about that. Think about how you just put that information in Google versus looking at the map first, and thinking about your route. You just relying on that app to route you, and that's a form of AI. uh you know there's lots of other things here that they use as things, but I think those are probably the two most obvious and relevant to AI and where it's going. And yeah, so just you know, try to be super aware, you know, try to be super aware of your using it. Like it says here, arguments against, I'm just an LLM wrapper. Yeah, if you're just using that, then it's the thing is doing all the work, not you and not your brain. I think one of the main areas that AI can begin to harm you is it's gonna as you become more and more reliant on it, it will work against you being able to create things on your own, like out of whole cloth, create things, and that's really where humans shine. I mean, that's what we do. We make things, we create new things. AI can't do that, not at least not yet. Don't know that it ever will be able to, because they've all just learned based on things that have already been made. So anything that you use it to put out into the world that you're claiming is yours is derivative of other things that already exist. You just have to remember that, and then just be aware of where you're using it, and keep that top of mind, so that you don't just become an LLM wrapper. Old friend of mine, Heaton, he's a serial entrepreneur out of the West Coast. I believe he's from the West Coast still. He might have moved, but that's where I knew him from. He's been putting out some interesting, interesting, uh, thoughtful content. Knowing Heaton, it is probably actually AI generated, which is the connection here, but uh, he's a really thoughtful guy. So he made this post: your life transformed into a dashboard, every moment tracked, health, productivity, mood, all neatly quantified. At first, clarity feels powerful. You have control, but lean in closer. Cognitive load is a number. Social connections are scores. Even caffeine intake is measured. AI nudges prompt you outside for exactly 15 minutes. Precision is appealing, clarity seductive. Yet here's the unsettling truth: when every detail is data, are you enhancing your life or erasing your humanity? Yes, dude. I love that. And the let's see if I can, yeah, the detail here of the dashboard is pretty cool. Pretty sure it's not real. God, I hope it's not real. But he's right, man. That seems really cool on the surface, but as you get into it, it is a deep dive into what will be depression